Hello everyone, and welcome back to Welcome to Gaming. Today we are not walking, we are driving. We're going to be playing a game called Glitchhikers, which is one of my favorites. It's just a short little burst of a game. Essentially the concept being the feeling of taking a drive late at night, maybe something to get away from your problems, maybe something to just move, just the feeling of driving late at night alone. And it's a game that really expresses more of a feeling of existence more than like emotional response. It's almost like a nostalgic feel to it. It really, like, to me personally, it makes me think of family road trips or trips to go visit, like, my grandparents. Sometimes we would just do a one-day thing where we drive down in the morning and drive back up at night, and just looking out at the stars out the windows. I literally, like, I grew up when, if you to entertain yourself in the car ride, you might have some books, you might have a Game Boy, and this was a Game Boy Color, didn't have the lights on it. You had to play only with the lights on, and your parents didn't want them on, so you just look out at the stars.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Almost 100 years before Columbus ever sailed to the Americas.
I'm gonna do two versions of this game. One where I read the dialogue, because it's a short game. I thought maybe I'll try something a little bit different. But this one is more of my traditional style of gameplay, where I'm just kind of talking over it. I hate to interrupt the radio, but at the same time, he's not really giving anything significant to the plot. It's a little more of just a guy kind of rambling. The one thing that he does say kind of significant is when he says that song was by David Lynch, which this game is very inspired by the oddness of David Lynch. So again, it invokes more of an emotional response than an actual, like, gameplay analysis normally would. Like, you get a feeling for the game more than a feeling caused by the game. I'm not 100% sure what I'm saying. I'm just kind of rambling. So, there's someone. Hello. Looks like you got stuck. So, and this is where the dialogue comes in that I was talking about, because now, according to the title, we have a hitchhiker. Hi there. So, and I'm gonna have these things, like, I'll pick the stuff. I'm not gonna read them all out, but I just want to kind of skim through it. So you can read it if you want. Just mute me, ignore me, or honestly, you could just download this game and play it yourself, because this is a free game. You can get it for Mac or PC. So, but I'm just kind of picking random things. And so each playthrough is a little bit different. I think this first person is always the same, but there are some different characters that you can pick up later on, all with different styles of dialogue. But this game is very philosophical. Like, everything about it is more in depth. Like, the game is an expression of feeling through driving. I don't know if you've ever had that experience of going for a drive on a dark, lonely night where it's just you. Maybe you're traveling to see someone. Maybe you've got somewhere to be. Maybe you just needed to get out for a little bit, or something as simple as you're coming home from work and you decide to take the long way home. Just something along those lines. So, and I think it's a cool... I think it's just a cool way to express the feeling of driving this. Like, I feel like I'm honestly playing through this, I'm already, like, feeling more relaxed. Like, I'm trying to keep the energy up to some extent, but see, that was a nice touch. We just went through that tunnel and the radio cut out. So, but looking at this, I just feel like it's really just bringing me down to a calm level. This is a very calming game. So, you know, if you're looking for excitement, well, honestly, why are you watching this channel? Most of my games aren't about excitement. But it's just, this one in particular gives me this sense of just relaxation and zen that most other games really don't. Alright, bye.
Well, that was a little different.
It is a little different. This whole game is a little different.
Even though there is nowhere you could look that doesn't eventually have a star, shouldn't it be white? And scientists say the average color of the universe is beige.
I love that.
There are stars above you, even
the average
in the
color
day,
of the universe is beige. It's just
another
moment of like, this is it's just a weird game, and it's even got little bits of comedy in there, and some of the hitchhikers as well have a little bit of more of a comedic tone to them, but most of them are a little deeper than that. So I wonder if it's when you finish, because I realize last time I played, I was surprised by a character who was like sitting on top of the tunnel, and I wonder if that's because if I finish the dialogue before that other person leaves, do I get this person on top of the tunnel? Does that affect who we pick up? I don't know. I don't have anyone yet. Is there anyone on the side of the road? Oh, here we go. That's what I was saying. There he is. Alright. We have another guest. I like that it does the little glitching in the universe to kind of show you, like, hey, you've got a visitor, pay attention. So let's see who we have here. I don't know if I've had this one before. Oh, maybe I have. I do remember the whale discussion. Suicidal whales. I can't think of the word whales without thinking of the band Gojira now. It's just, if you're a metalhead, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's a little unsettling. I mean, again, this is a game that talks philosophy in some weird ways. Like, we get into mental illness, into suicide, into abuse, into alcoholism. Like, all these different hitchhikers have different purposes behind them, and it does get a little deep and can be a little uncomfortable. So talking over them almost feels a little sacrilegious, honestly. And I wish I had more to say than they do, but I don't. I think theirs is a much deeper experience than I can express with this. You know, this is the kind of talks where I feel like either, you know, I am not a drug person, so I couldn't tell you what it's like to be high and having a big, deep discussion. I imagine it's something like this, but I feel like this is also just the idea of, like, this is how you talk at 1:30 in the morning with a person when you're just alone and focused on the road. Like, this is what you've got. You know, you kind of get into this in-depth feeling like the world around you is bigger than you realize. Something about driving on an open road too just gives you that feeling of just this wide range of everything, and to think like the universe itself is so massive, and this road alone feels massive to you. Like, you just keep driving, there's no end in sight. You know there's an end, but it doesn't feel like it. And to imagine things that are so much bigger than that in a universe that's so much bigger than all this, it's an extreme sense. So oh, there we go. Sometimes the conversations end a little more abruptly than others. I'm gonna slow down. I'm not sure how fast 100 kilometers an hour is. I assume it's roughly it must have just been a reflection. Where'd the moon go?
And the circle
that
of life
beautiful red
continues.
moon.
We don't always have control over our lives, over what happens to us.
This guy makes me think of
But
Paul
we
from
do
William
control
Ray
how
Rock.
we
Like,
react.
his voice is so
Accept,
soothing and
grow,
relaxing,
live, love,
and also just a
hide,
little comical.
fade, wither, Wizen.
Maybe not now.
Embrace.
Not so
fight.
much comedy now.
You are all alone out there, but you know, you're never alone.
This is such a great
Millions of
line.
distinct bacteria share your body. You're never alone.
That's just so
Keep driving, driver.
I feel like that's
Turtles all the way
something.
down
A comment
is
like
up
that
next.
is like along the same lines of like when someone has bed bugs and you can't help but itch when you just hear the word. Like it's the most uncomfortable thing. If you ever work in a setting with in a medical setting, you will know. You just hear the word bed bugs and people go running, which is reasonable. I don't think you have to be in a medical setting to also be terrified of getting bed bugs, because they're just unpleasant things. By the way, I said that this game is free, and you should... Oh, that's interesting looking. Oh, they're trees. Are they trees? Oh, that's not a tree. I almost missed him. Alright, who are you? Oh, you're interesting looking. The universe is expanding, and it has no... Alright. That's an interesting question. Yeah. It's funny how the concept of, like, physics being such a specific science, and yet there is a lot of philosophy mixed into the idea of space and time and the universe itself. Like, it really is, like, infinity is such a hard thing for us to grasp. Sorry if I'm skipping this dialogue too fast for you, but again, just go play it yourself. But infinity is too big for us to grasp. Like, I'm sorry, when people say, like, oh, it's infinite, like, you really can't imagine that. Like, when you look at, like, sometimes you look out just at the ocean and it's so massive. Again, this we're comparing to, like, roads and oceans and things on Earth, but there are so many big things here on Earth that we see them and are just blown away by it. And I'd love to see things like that be... Yeah, I would love to know how big something can really be. I always like to think, like, if you ever played the game Shadow of the Colossus, I would love the idea of seeing a living creature as big as some of those creatures, because the idea of that is just, it would blow your mind. The idea of an animal being as big as a building, and it just stun you. I don't think human minds could handle it, honestly. So, I don't know. That's getting into my thoughts on the world. Like, if any, like, mythical thing existed in reality that I'd love to see something along those lines, where it's just something so massive that we have nothing to compare it to in reality. But anyway, back to the game. I was saying how, man, this music can be strong. I mean, I tell you now that if you've got headphones in, like, this music can be a little abrasive. But if you do enjoy the music, which I do thoroughly, you can pay for the deluxe version of this game. Like I said, the game is free, but if you buy the deluxe version, which I believe is $10, you get the soundtrack. And that is all. So that's, if you like the soundtrack, then pay for the music. Because then you're supporting the music creators, and also specifically you're supporting the game developer. So, it's paying for free games is not everyone's taste, and I understand, especially if this game is not your taste. So if you don't like it, cool, you don't have to buy it, but it is free, and I do recommend. And I want to try and play a lot more like free games like this on here, because it gives people a chance to try a game that they haven't before, try an experience that they haven't before, and do it in a way that they're not going to feel regret for buying. Like, I know that walking simulators are not everyone's taste, and while I would love everyone to play Gone Home or Firewatch or something along those lines, not everyone wants to invest in that. People don't want to pay $20 for a game that they don't know they'll like or not. But this one, you can give it a try and just see if this kind of experience appeals to you. But I think we're about done here. So each playthrough gets you 3
What do you
Glitchhikers.
see out there?
And when it's done,
Emptiness?
you turn
Chaos? An uncaring void?
You know, if there
Or
was
do
one
you see
thing
the
I would love to
stars,
add to this
the
game
art of the
would
nebulae,
be
the romance of distant galaxies?
if your car had
Is
a
God
sunroof
watching you?
and you could look up
Is she watching
and
any
just
of
see
us?
straight up into the
7
stars, because
billion
that
people
was
on this
my
world,
favorite thing as a
and
kid
all
to
we
do
have
when
is
driving
each
at
other,
night, would be to look up
our
into
own little
the sunroof
infinity.
and see the stars going by.
Now count back with me, traveler. 5, 4,
I'm really
3.
I'm trying
2,
not to count with him.
1.
But
Welcome back. This has
it's
been
like I have to
Radio 90
resist
Night
counting,
Travel
because
safely.
mentally I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So this is about the end of the game. So this is the last song that they're going to play. And at the end of the game, you have a choice. You get to pick either, do I get off the exit here, go into the city, or do I keep driving? Doesn't change either way. Either way, the game is done. But it's kind of your way of saying, this character, is he ready to go back? Is he ready to finish his travels, or are we going to keep going? Because it's just more of the experience. It's making me sleepy, which is fine. I honestly, I did buy the deluxe version, and I do have the music, and sometimes this is music that helps me like fall asleep if I'm having trouble at night, and so now playing the game makes me sleepy a little bit. But that's pretty much it for Glitchhikers. We're just gonna get off here. We're gonna head into the city. So hopefully this recording was a little bit better. I tried recording this before, and the sound is so loud, it just blew everything else away. You couldn't hear me at all. But I do enjoy just going back to this game every now and then just to play a little bit, get to see it again. If you want a really cool analysis on this game, you should definitely check out, there's a YouTube channel, which I am blanking out on the name of right now, and they did a breakdown on this game, and I'm stalling because I'm trying to look it up, because I can't think of the name of the YouTube channel. It's called Errant Signal, ERRANT Signal. And they did a great analysis on this game and on games like this. So that guy honestly kind of inspired me to do this stuff, to play games like this, because there's lots of games that you're not gonna hear about, that you're not gonna always find or see, like, because there's not a big marketing push. It's usually designed by one or two people or small teams. They're more practices. Like they're not meant to be sold to like a big audience. It's meant to just be an experience that a couple people want to see. I got a feeling some people are watching this being like, oh my gosh, these credits are just as long as the game. Not 100% true, but they are a bit long. I love the thanks to Carl Sagan. Anyway, I don't know what else I can say about this at this point, so I'm just gonna I don't know. Do I keep talking? Do I keep playing it? For great okay, and I have a cat trying to talk to me, so yeah. Okay. I'll play with you in a bit. I have very attention-seeking cats. I'm pretty sure I've talked about my cats in every video that I've put up at this point. It's like they're always around. When you got this many, even when one's at the vet, they're still gonna. Are you serious? These are the slowest. I can't speed these up at all. Like I almost feel bad that you're just like sitting now watching these, but I hope you like this game, and I hope you do give it a try. I know, again, it's not for everybody, and I did just kind of skim over the words and everything, so if you really want to play it and pick your own choices and read through the dialogue, because the dialogue is really deep and expressive and interesting, give it a try yourself. So But that was Glitchhikers, and I'm gonna do another video